Okay, everyone, you've got to use your imagination because you have to imagine that I am a watercolorist. So I have my watercolors out and I've got my ink. This is my platinum carbon ink that I used, and it's been maybe, I don't know how many minutes, a half hour since I've drawn this. Let's see if I can put colors over. I'm using also watercolor paper this time, and let's see if there's any bleeding going on. Now we're starting with, I used the Schaefer pen to draw these, and I don't see any bleeding happening, do I? I don't think so. Now let's make the body a red color. As you see, I am not a watercolorist. There's a little bit of blue ink in my brush. And the compound eyes of this funny looking bug are yellow. Well, I don't see any bleeding, and you can plainly see that I'm not a watercolorist. So now I'm going to use a very light blue to sort of fill in the background, just to see what happens. Especially where the legs are, because the legs don't have anything else near them. Just the lines of the legs. One down, set that over here, see what happens. I really don't see any bleeding. Okay, now we have a rocket ship. I also drew with the Schaefer pen. This one, I'm just going to have shades of purple and blue and be sort of messy. As you can see, it wasn't intended, but I'm clearly messy. Big blobs of wet pigment. This rocket ship shoots bubbles, like soap bubbles, out of its two little antennae there to attack their enemy. I do like science fiction when it's actually something other than cowboys and Indians with spaceships. God, I hate cowboys and Indian spaceship movies, which is almost all of them. Good guys and bad guys. What the heck? How is that even vaguely interesting? Oh, we'll add some flames. I don't, you know, if you want to watch cowboys and Indians and good guys and bad guys, just watch The Rifleman or something, you know. But when you want to, one of my favorite science fiction movies is 2001: A Space Odyssey, because it seemed to me that showed how boring space is, how vast and boring and quiet and lonely it might be. Oh, we'll just make the top of this one red. Yellow. What color is this beer? Yellow. Okay. This is how I watercolor. You can tell that I'm not a watercolorist. Okay, so there's that one. I don't see any bleeding. Okay, now we have another space battle. This was drawn with my Eversharp. It puts out a lot more ink. So I have a feeling we might be dealing with still some bleeding. So we'll pretend Saturn is yellow. There's Saturn's moons. Now we have a very strange solar system because we also have crescent moons going on over here, which implies the sun is coming from that direction, but who knows. And we've got three little, this is a cowboy and Indian one. We have three little Viper craft that the Red Kingdom planet, whatever they are, put out there in space, and they're attacking the, okay, what colors do I have to choose from? The turquoise people, the people from the planet Turquoise. Now, the turquoise people are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But don't tell that to the red people. The red people are all bad about, they think the turquoise people are evil. Well, nothing's bleeding because I'm not touching the other ink, but I will in a second. Here I'm touching, clearly touching the ink. I don't know what kind of propulsion system the turquoise people use, but it's clean energy. The red people have burned fossil fuels and cause pollution just because. Okay. I fell asleep last night to a documentary of this universe or the solar system. I think I made it as far as Jupiter, and they were going everywhere, and I fell asleep in Jupiter, I think. Didn't get very far. Well, now I'm just being silly, so let's try to fix this. I'm a person who kind of doesn't like the idea of watercolor on top of pen and ink drawing because it seems an abomination to me. Why don't you just leave it pen and ink? Why do you need to add the color? And if you want color, why don't you just do it in color? Just leave the pen at home. I know that because what happens with me in my little head, my brain sees black and white, and the black is so different from all the colors, whereas, you know, if I was doing just watercolor, the black would I don't know, it's just a different thing. Okay, we're gonna go, we're just gonna be moppy with this one. I'm one of these people who has opinions. I'm very opinionated. That's the word I am. I'm very opinionated. I have things that I think make sense and other things don't make sense. And with watercolor and ink, that's one of the things that I don't think makes sense. But probably it's because I don't know how to do it. You know, I condemn what I don't know how to do. So that's probably what is causing the dislike in my mind of this. But so far, this ink seems to be doing a good job. It does not seem to be causing any bleeding. Now, is that bleeding there, or is that just sort of leftover blue from the brush because of my... There might be a little bit of tiny bit of bleeding there. Let's go back to this one. Of course, we don't have a lot of overlapping. I didn't see much bleeding there. And then we go back over here. Seems fine. Okay, now for the other part of it, we're going to take our pens that we use to draw these things, if I can find them, and we're going to, I'm not going to sign them in the sense of signing them, but I will write on them. So let's see if this pen still works or if it's clogged up. So, bug. I did notice, I must say that I did discover that it took a little bit of priming to get it going. Another bug. And now we go, oh, I wrote on the wrong one. So there's skipping that happens. Space, Final Frontier, space. So I guess it works. It passes my test so far. Now, I still haven't discovered any side effects, any suicidal thoughts, any explosive diarrhea, but I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching.